Welcome, welcome. It's the John Binnie Driving Show. We're off to drive to make it revive. Let's see how it goes. Welcome along. It is a Tuesday morning in the mildly cold, drab, or mildly bleak, as we call it in Scotland, weather, and I can see the moon is looking beautiful this morning. I hope you're all doing so well and sending you so much love from here in Scotland. I am off to Naked Revive for a fun-packed day. Woohoo! Starting with my first client I'm doing a recorded session for. And yes, you can request, instead of doing a Zoom session, I can do a recorded only version of any of my sessions where you don't need to come along to the Zoom session. I just go into Zoom by myself. And regardless of whether I use Zoom or not, I'm just recording it. And then I send you on the recording afterwards. And what's cool about that is I get to spend a little bit more time focusing on you and going into more depth in an hour session, for example. It also means you can be sleeping while I'm doing it. So if you are watching this and you have a session where it's early for you or early hours in the morning, like many of you booked, just let me know and just drop me an email or comment this video and we can do a recorded only version. So what else is going on? Oh, and then after that, I'm doing some psychic reflexology, which is a lot of fun to do. And then I'm doing another online session, also from Naked Revive. And then after that, I am doing running an event for receiving your dream life, and it's a lot of fun teaching it. I've done it in the intermediate training class before, and this is kind of like an expanded version. I'm more focused on the people in the class and like your own individual desires, what you want out of your dream lives, and yeah, looking forward to experiencing that with you and taking you through the journey together. Yesterday was a was a really fun packed day. I had client session in the morning, client session in the afternoon. I got out my weekly newsletter and managed to remember to tell everyone there's a 20% off my higher self foundational training that starts in March. So that discount, this early bird discount, is available to the end of January. And also, I did a live stream with Natasha and Viviani. That was great fun. And it was fun playing around with the music as we're selecting different requests. That was fun to play with. And then after I had dinner, I also spent a couple of hours teaching the higher self intermediate training, and that was really cool. We did some really magic work. We did in the intermediate training, which is week 2 currently. Of course, I might jiggle around the agendas as it evolves over time, but week 2 was about how to run a client session end to end. So all the best practices about preparation, booking, setting up a safe space, making sure you have consent, following laws such as GDPR for data protection, and then also like what I do when I first start a session, a bit about the content of it, and also closing down sessions and the aftercare. The practical task for running client sessions was to each of the class, including myself, paired up with someone in the class, and then we would connect, would ask permission, like set up a safe space, ask permission, and then we would ask one of our buddies, like our class buddies, guides to come forwards, and then we'd ask them a question, which was, which chakra should we focus on to provide the most healing at this time? And since I was part of the class, and I can say that my buddy was fantastic, and they focused on my throat chakra and it feeling quite dry, which is true. It does feel quite dry, even if it's to speak, and also my sacral chakra, all about I have many ideas and that they're just there for me to take and explore, which is a really wonderful message, and I'm very grateful for that. And it was just so lovely to see the class just, I guess, go from a position of whether they've maybe some of them have never done this before, ask someone else's guide to step forwards, and others had kind of done it, but maybe not like in a safe or so to say as safe or uh, or an approach with such a clear intention. And it was just a really simple, like, first healing, but you know, that gives a lot of value to people, right? Like if you could just go to someone and say, I just have this one body part or this area that I think I need healed, and you can make a difference. Like it's a huge step forwards, right? So I was just so proud of the class. And then I also got to teach trance channeling, so-called trance channeling, where you go, it's like you appear to be to the outsider, like in a bit of a trance, where what you've actually done is invited in another being into your body, and you're speaking as them. Um, and that was incredible to witness. Like the class all did it really well. I I had to go first, which was and I asked the class if they'd like to choose one of my guides for me to ask to step into me. And then we asked um, for the class, I got them to ask me questions real time, so they could ask me, a couple of things, and I would just give an answer. Uh, for I just let my guide speak through me, and it was my mantis guide. And now I can't remember the questions. Oh, one was I think the second question was about whether incarnating as a human is like a trap. Um, and the answer in short was that there's lots of pros and cons to incarnating as a human. One challenge is you can end up like any incarnation just repeating the same patterns, not really growing as a soul. And then there's the opposite, which is you do grow as a soul, and it was a fabulous experience being a human. So that was lovely, and then to see the class members do it themselves, I asked the class to answer the question, what does love mean to you? I think that was the question. So they had to ask one of their spirit guides to step forwards. So they open up their hearts, they allow their spirit guide to step into them, and then they'd speak the answer. And although it's quite, I mean, not that short, it felt like maybe 5 to 10 minutes that some of the class were doing this. It was just really powerful. Everyone had very unique experiences, and we talked a lot about safety. Don't just allow any being into your space. Starting with your spirit guides is a great start because you can trust them, or largely trust them. This maybe on the rare occasion, I've seen one or two guides that don't serve my client's highest good. I made my client aware, but the vast majority of the time, our spirit guides are the most trusted. And everything's on a scale, right? You can say, "Oh, you're the most trusted people or beings in the universe for me." Doesn't mean to say that they're the most trustworthy in the whole universe, full stop, because they're just the beings you've met or are on your team. But it just is, and I think it's wonderful to explore. And so when we finished the training, there was a few other questions from the class about different best practices and what to do in certain situations with different clients. So I shared my experiences, and I really love that about the courses is that I can share. I tend not to write it down, and I never I always protect my clients' confidentiality. Like I don't talk about specifics or names. Um, but what I do is like share the experiences, and most importantly, to give context and share the lessons that I learned. So that was just a wonderful experience. And today I've got, maybe I'll take some photos of it, but I have a load of equipment to take for my event. And it's only a 4 minute walk um, from my van to Naked Revive. But when you're carrying, the van's too big to park there, and even it can be annoying during the day to turn up in front of the place and to unload my stuff and then drive back. And to be honest, it takes ages. And I can always come back at lunch. I don't need the training event material stuff until later, so I can always come back later and get it, maybe at lunchtime. Um, and thank you for some of your comments about, wow, John, that's a really packed day. Yes, yesterday was a packed day. And if I talk a little bit about, my reaction to the day, I feel like first of all, um, after my client session in the morning, I I kind of like, if you read my newsletter, I like stuck to the point. I think I did it in about 35 minutes creating it, and sometimes it takes me about an hour to create. And had my lunch, so I ate lunch and then took Petra for a walk, and then I slept for about 45 minutes. And that was lovely. Like I just said to my body, it's a real long day. Let's prepare for, whatever. I was finishing at 2, and then I've been working on till about 10 at night. So it's just a super long day. And it fascinates me, this human condition, right? Because I had decided, John had decided at some point in the past couple of months that this would have been a sustainable pattern. And it was only like after literally a couple of days of realizing that it's too much, that what would that be, a 13 hour, 13 to 14 hour like working day with gaps and naps and things in between. But it's almost like you're kind of in that on mode, if you like. You kind of work on mode. So yeah, that was a big thing to reflect on. I definitely won't be doing this very often. And today's epic too. It's now 20 to 9, and I'll be doing a session at 10, and then 1, and then a coffee chat at 3, and then I'll be doing another session at 4:30, and then I'll be doing a training event till 9, and then I suspect it'll take me about half an hour to an hour to pack up, clean up after the event, and then take all my stuff back to my van, and to drive home. If I can get home for like 10 or 10:30, that would be fantastic. So it's, as if you're bored of hearing me say this, I don't know, but coming into April, it settles down. It's not long, right? It's only just a few weeks, and often I find there's an opportunity for just increasing my self-love. So Friday I just have one session. Saturday, Sunday is more clear, and that makes a big difference. Like having, because you feel like you're going. When I have Friday afternoon off, I feel like I'm going into Saturday with a kind of a more relaxed state, and I'm also just really enjoying whenever there's an opportunity that comes up. Like if there's something rescheduled or a gap, then I'll just take the time to, sometimes I'll just take that time back and say, well, I just, it's better to have my self-care first. And that's the key, right? It's all about our self-love and self-care. So so yeah, looking forward to just continuing to learn this lesson, this journey. And I also think that it's almost like this guy's letting me past. This guy. Thank you. It's almost like even though I've learned this lesson, have I really? Maybe like to see my face. Hi, it's John. Um, have I really learned the lesson about working too many hours? Um, and it feels like this would be the last kind of the last time I have to experience it. And it's all self-created, right? The good thing is it doesn't feel for me um, it doesn't give me anxiety. Maybe a little bit. Maybe like out of 10, the kind of ones and twos are like, oh, there's a lot to organize, and how will I be on that day? Will I be, am I taking good enough care of myself? But on the other side of that, I feel like um, I'm doing okay. Like I do find the stress levels much lower than anything I've ever had. So it's almost like when you really love your work and it's such passion and freedom and flow in the work. You just need to then focus on just don't tire yourself out. A bit like dancing, right? Like it's such fun to dance, but you do need to take a break between songs, and you also have. It's also helpful to have nights off or days off dancing. So yeah, I know, isn't it a beautiful town? The town's looking fantastic. Um, I'm excited about some of you who have met, um, who know you know me from my online work are coming to visit on your travels. You're coming to visit in Haddington, so looking forward to that. Thank you for your bookings. And yeah, Wednesday I'll be back on the Mindful Leadership podcast. So that's tomorrow morning. Hopefully, if I manage to do it, I'll have set up my new um, sound setup in my office, which is to mimic my studio so that I can freely work between the two. And I'm going to love that because it's a lot more space and oxygen and amenities um, in my home office. It's just very noisy when my family are home. So looking forward to that client session Wednesday, and then also going on Linda G's show. So that'll be exciting. So yeah, just taking good care of myself and looking forward to helping you all on your awakening journeys. Oh, isn't the sky beautiful? I just love the color that it's showing on the camera. It's really lovely. So yeah, if you have topics of videos you'd like me to talk about, let me know. I love driving with you, and I know quite a few of you say, Joe, I love it when you do your driving videos. So thank you. Um, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care, everyone. I'm sending so much love from Scotland.